Act as if everything always works out. Act as if the one who created you has already gone ahead of you, cleared the path, opened the doors, silenced the storms, and marked the victory with your name on it. Act as if your tomorrow is already standing on the other side, waving at you, saying, "Come, I am waiting for you," because faith is not waiting to see before you believe. Faith is behaving as if the answer has already been delivered, even when the package has not yet arrived. Faith is moving like someone who has already touched the breakthrough, even when you are still walking through the fire. People of God, listen to me. What destroys many dreams is not the size of the battle, but the size of the doubt inside the heart. What crushes destiny is not the mountain outside, but the voice inside that whispers, "What if it doesn't work?" That small whisper has destroyed more futures than any giant on the outside. That one question, "What if it doesn't work?" has buried more miracles than any enemy ever could. But today I am speaking into your spirit. Replace that question. Delete it from your mind. Tear it out of your vocabulary. Instead, speak this into your soul. What if it does work? What if the door does open? What if the season you are stepping into is the season that changes everything? What if heaven has been waiting for you to take the first step so that God can reveal the rest? I stand here to tell you that life responds to expectation. The future responds to faith. Your destiny listens to the instructions you give it. If you expect defeat, defeat will find you. If you expect disappointment, disappointment will locate you. But if you expect victory, if you act as if everything always works out, then your actions become a magnet for divine intervention. Heaven recognizes the language of faith. Miracles respond to confidence. Breakthroughs are attracted to bold steps. When you move like someone who believes, you activate a different atmosphere around you. Let me ask you a question. How do you pray? Do you pray like someone begging for mercy? Or do you pray like someone whose Father is the creator of the universe? Do you walk into your day like someone who is unsure of God's plan? Or do you walk like someone who knows that the battle has already been won on your behalf? When you wake up, how do you rise? Do you rise afraid of what might go wrong? Or do you rise announcing into the unseen realm? Today will favor me. Today will lift me. Today will align with my purpose. Because the posture of your morning often becomes the prophecy of your day. When you act as if everything works out, you are not pretending. You are not ignoring reality. You are living from a higher reality. You are stepping into the position of someone who understands that what you see is not the final story. What you feel is not the final truth. What you're going through is not the final verdict. God writes the last line, not your situation. God determines the outcome, not your fear. God holds the turning point, not your anxiety. Acting as if everything works out shifts your perspective from the natural to the supernatural. There are people sitting here today who have been paralyzed by fear of failure, fear of loss, fear of embarrassment, fear of starting small, fear of trying again after disappointment, fear of stepping into unknown territory, fear of dreaming big because the past has taught you to expect little. But I came to break that chain today. Your fear has lied to you long enough. Your doubt has robbed you long enough. Your past has intimidated you long enough. It's time to rise with a new mindset, a new posture, a new spirit. Act as if everything always works out, because faith does not wait for confirmation. It creates confirmation. When God wanted Joshua to conquer the land, he did not give him a weapon. He gave him a mindset. Be strong and courageous. When God wanted Moses to part the sea, he did not give him a boat. He gave him an instruction, move forward. When God wanted David to defeat Goliath, he did not give him armor. He gave him courage to believe. This giant is not too big to defeat. He is too big to miss. When God wanted Peter to walk on water, he did not calm the waves first. He simply said, come. The miracle followed the movement. The breakthrough followed the step. The answer followed the action. Heaven responds to those who act as if God is already ahead of them. Let me ask you again, how would you speak if you knew everything would work out? How would you walk? How would you think? How would you plan? How would you pray? How would you show up in the world if you knew that nothing formed against you could prosper? Not because you are strong, but because God is faithful. If you knew that every delay carries a lesson, every setback carries a blessing, every challenge carries a strengthening, and every closed door carries redirection, what would you fear? Some of you are holding back your own testimony because you are waiting for certainty before you move. But certainty is not faith. Faith is moving with the confidence that even if you step into uncertainty, God will meet you there. Faith is stepping into the dark, knowing the switch is already in his hands. Faith is taking the step even when you cannot see the staircase. Faith is sowing the seed even when the soil looks dry. Act as if everything works out, and watch how heaven rearranges the atmosphere around your obedience. Let me speak to someone who has been disappointed so many times that you stopped expecting good news. You smile on the outside, but question everything on the inside. You dream small now because dreaming big hurt you once. You pray quietly now because praying boldly felt risky. I want to touch your heart right now. That season is over. You cannot enter a new chapter carrying the mindset of the old one. You cannot expect rain while holding an umbrella of fear. You cannot expect harvest while planting seeds of doubt. You must act as if everything always works out, not because life is perfect, but because God is purposeful. Act like someone who knows storms are temporary, but promises are eternal. Act like someone who knows that delays are not denials. Act like someone who knows that even when man rejects you, God redirects you. Act like someone who knows that closed doors are protection. Act like someone who knows that the valley is not meant to destroy you, but to develop you. Act like someone who knows that the wilderness is not the end. It is the training ground for the promised land. Listen to me closely. Acting as if everything works out is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are aligning your actions with God's character. You are aligning your expectations with his nature. You are aligning your steps with his promises. You are aligning your spirit with his faithfulness. You are saying, I trust his timing even when I don't understand it. I trust his plan even when I can't trace it. I trust his heart even when I can't see his hand. When you carry this posture, everything about you shifts. Your language changes. Your body language changes. Your tone changes. Your decisions change. Your environment begins to change. Opportunities that once passed you by begin to pause in front of you. People who once overlooked you begin to recognize you. Challenges that once intimidated you begin to shrink before you. Why? Because faith has entered the room, and faith never enters alone. Faith always brings miracles, favor, strength, clarity, and divine alignment with it. Some of you need to start acting like someone who is blessed even before the blessing arrives. Someone who is healed even before the symptoms leave. Someone who is free even before the chains fall. Someone who is restored even before the pieces come together. Someone who is chosen even before the world sees evidence of it. Someone who is rising even while you are still in the valley. I want you to understand something powerful. Acting as if everything works out does not mean everything goes the way you want. It means everything goes the way it needs to for your destiny. If God allows it, it has purpose. If He blocks it, it has protection. If He delays it, it has preparation. If He gives it, it has timing. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Nothing is out of His control. So whether your path is smooth or rough, whether your cup is full or empty, whether your season is bright or dark, act like someone who knows God is writing the story and the ending is victory. People around you may not understand this mindset. They may think you are too calm for the storm you're in, too confident for the challenges you face, too peaceful for the chaos around you. They may ask, can you act as if everything is fine? And you will say, because I know who holds tomorrow. I know who holds me. I know that nothing can happen to me without passing through His hands first. I know that my story is not finished. I know that the last chapter has not been written. I know that the one who began the work in me will complete it. That is why you act as if everything always works out, not because life is easy, but because God is present. Let me speak into your atmosphere right now. Something is shifting. Something is aligning. Something is rearranging. Something is breaking open. Something is preparing to manifest, but it requires your agreement. Heaven needs your participation. Miracles need your expectation. Breakthrough needs your cooperation. You must move like someone who believes. You must speak like someone who is convinced. You must walk like someone who is unstoppable. You must think like someone who already holds the testimony. Life responds differently when you show up differently. The moment you change your posture, heaven changes your outcome. The moment you shift your expectation, your path begins to shift with it. Act as if everything always works out, and the future will rise to meet your faith. The future obeys the posture of the spirit that refuses to doubt. When the spirit stands firm, when the heart is anchored, when the mind refuses to bow to fear, something remarkable begins to happen in the unseen realm. Paths begin to open. Walls begin to shake. Doors that were once locked start turning on their hinges because destiny listens. The future is not blind. It hears the language of faith. It recognizes the stance of a determined spirit. It responds to conviction. It moves toward courage. It bends in the direction of a heart that refuses to surrender to doubt. This is why some people rise despite storms while others sink even in calm waters. It is not the environment that determines the outcome. It is the posture of the spirit navigating that environment. When you refuse to doubt, you carry a posture that commands movement. You walk like someone who understands that life does not happen to you, life responds to you. You think like someone who knows that faith is not passive, it is a force. It is a signal you send out that shapes what comes back to you. Many people do not understand this, so they wait for the future to become easier before they believe. They wait for the atmosphere to change before they stand firm. They wait for evidence before they commit. But the future does not obey people who wait. The future obeys those who refuse to doubt even when everything around them seems unstable. There is a realm of confidence that does not come from what you say. It comes from what you know. It comes from the conviction that the one who guides your steps is too wise to make mistakes and too faithful to abandon you halfway. When your spirit carries this kind of posture, the future respects it. Challenges respect it. Darkness respects it. Fear recognizes it and cannot stand in front of it, because doubt weakens the voice of destiny, but faith amplifies it. A doubting spirit moves slowly, timidly, cautiously, hesitantly. But a confident spirit moves with certainty even in uncertainty. It takes steps even when the path is hidden. It speaks boldly even when the results are not yet visible. And because of that, the future aligns itself with such a spirit. When you refuse to doubt, something happens inside you. Your decisions become sharper. Your focus becomes clearer. Your courage becomes stronger. You begin to navigate life not through the lens of fear, but through the lens of divine assurance. You stop reacting to circumstances and start acting on conviction. You stop waiting for signs and start creating movement. You stop shrinking under pressure and start rising above it. Because doubt is heavy. Doubt weighs the spirit down. Doubt creates hesitation. Doubt slows destiny. But when you refuse to doubt, you remove the weight that keeps your miracle from taking flight. Many people are waiting for their future to change, but their spirit posture is still bent, still fearful, still uncertain, still questioning. The future cannot obey that posture because the future is shaped by faith. The future is shaped by decisions rooted in trust. The future is shaped by actions born from conviction. You cannot walk into a victorious future with a defeated posture. You cannot enter a season of abundance with a spirit of uncertainty. You cannot expect divine alignment while carrying the language of doubt. A spirit that refuses to doubt stands tall. It stands steady. It stands anchored. And when you stand that way, the future adjusts itself to meet you at the level of your confidence. Think about this. Every great destiny has a moment where doubt tries to interrupt the journey. It tried with Moses when he stood before the Red Sea. It tried with David standing in front of Goliath. It tried with Joshua marching around Jericho's walls. It tried with Abraham waiting for the promised child. It tried with Elijah facing the prophets of Baal. It tried with Peter stepping out of the boat. It tried with every person who ever carried a God-given assignment. But what separated those who saw miracles from those who stayed stuck was not the absence of fear. It was their refusal to doubt. They held a posture that declared, even if I cannot see the outcome, I trust the one who holds it. Even if I cannot understand the process, I trust the purpose behind it. Even if the evidence is not in front of me, the assurance is already inside me. The future does not move for those who doubt, because doubt signals instability. Doubt tells the future, I am not ready. Doubt tells opportunities, pass me by. Doubt tells blessings, wait until I feel more certain. But faith signals readiness. Faith signals alignment. Faith signals authority. Faith says, come, I am prepared. I am grounded. I am convinced. And the future obeys that voice. The future gravitates toward a spirit that knows what it wants and believes in what has been promised. Let me tell you something important. Your posture is a prophecy. The way you stand inside determines what stands in front of you outside. A bold spirit attracts pressure. A fearful spirit attracts confusion. A hesitant spirit attracts delays. But a spirit that refuses to doubt attracts acceleration. It attracts clarity. It attracts breakthrough. It attracts divine orchestration. It attracts moments of alignment that others cannot understand. Because faith is magnetic. Confidence is magnetic. Conviction is magnetic. When your spirit is rooted, grounded, unwavering, you begin to draw progress toward you. You begin to draw opportunity toward you. You begin to draw solutions toward you. When a person refuses to doubt, you can see it. They carry themselves differently. They speak with a different tone. They walk with a different rhythm. They make decisions with a different strength. They pray with a different authority. A person who refuses to doubt does not speak out of fear of what might go wrong. They speak out of expectation of what must go right. They are not intimidated by obstacles. They are energized by purpose. They do not complain about the process. They honor the preparation. They do not run from challenges. They see challenges as confirmation that the future is close. The posture of a spirit that refuses to doubt is not loud. It is rooted. It is not arrogant. It is secure. It is not reckless. It is anchored. It is not blind. It is enlightened. It is not dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on conviction. When you carry this posture, your future recognizes you. It sees you as someone fit for advancement, ready for responsibility, strong enough for promotion, steady enough for breakthrough. Many people want a future they are not postured for. They want elevation while carrying the mindset of limitation. They want success while carrying the expectation of failure. They want breakthroughs while feeding doubt. But a future of victory will not obey a posture of fear. You must ask yourself, what posture am I carrying? How do I stand in the moments that test me? Do I crumble? Do I question? Do I hesitate? Do I shrink? Or do I lift my spirit and remain steady? Because the world responds differently to someone who refuses to doubt. Even people around you begin to respond differently. They begin to trust you more. They begin to respect your presence. They begin to recognize your strength. They begin to notice your consistency. Doors open when you carry conviction. People favor you when you radiate confidence. Energy aligns with you when you stop allowing doubt to dictate your movements. A spirit that refuses to doubt is a spirit that understands that every step carries confirmation. Every challenge carries preparation. Every delay carries direction. Every painful chapter carries revelation. Every silence carries instruction. Such a spirit does not panic when things go quiet. It does not collapse when things go slow. It does not fear when things look impossible. Instead, it stands firm because it knows the future is listening. And when the future hears courage, it prepares reward. When the future hears confidence, it prepares opportunity. When the future hears stability, it prepares elevation. You must remember something powerful. The future is not waiting to surprise you. The future is waiting to respond to you. Your faith is the command. Your conviction is the direction. Your posture is the instruction. When you refuse to doubt, you tell the future, move. When you refuse to doubt, you tell the mountain, shift. When you refuse to doubt, you tell the challenge, lose your grip. When you refuse to doubt, you tell destiny, I am ready. Unlock yourself. The future obeys the posture of a spirit that refuses to doubt, because doubt is the voice of disconnection. But faith is the voice of authority. Look at a seed. It does not wait for proof of sunlight before growing. It grows because it knows what is inside it. It grows because its posture is upward even underground. It grows because it refuses to doubt its design. The future obeys it. Look at an eagle. It does not wait for perfect wind before spreading its wings. It rises because its posture is dominance, not fear. The sky obeys it. Look at a lion. It does not wait for permission to roar. It roars because its posture is identity. The jungle obeys it. In the same way, when your spirit stands in truth, identity, faith, and divine confidence, the future cannot resist you. A person who refuses to doubt does not look at life with shrinking eyes. They look with expanded vision. They do not ask, what if I fail? They ask, what if this is the moment everything changes? They do not say, I am not worthy. They say, I am chosen for this season. They do not say, this is too big for me. They say, this is prepared for me. They do not carry the shame of yesterday. They carry the revelation of tomorrow. They do not walk in hesitation. They walk in certainty. And certainty shapes outcomes. When you refuse to doubt, you begin to operate from a place of divine assurance. You begin to see opportunities where others see problems. You begin to see direction where others see confusion. You begin to see growth where others see loss. You begin to see possibility where others see impossibility. Because your spirit is no longer controlled by the noise around you, it is guided by the truth within you. And when truth leads, the future aligns effortlessly. Some of you have allowed doubt to pause your destiny. You have allowed uncertainty to delay your steps. You have allowed fear to silence your voice. You have allowed insecurity to shrink your dreams. But it is not because your future is small. It is because your posture has been weakened. Today you must rise inside yourself. You must stand with a new inner authority. You must refuse to doubt, even if your circumstances give you every reason to question. Because your circumstances do not determine your future, your posture does. When you refuse to doubt, you walk with a quiet boldness, not loud, not boastful, but steady. People will notice that you do not panic in storms. You do not break under pressure. You do not run from challenges. They will see that even when you bend, you do not break. Even when you stumble, you do not surrender. Even when you cry, you do not collapse. And that posture begins to shape your future in ways others cannot explain. It is not the loudest voice that creates the future. It is the most convinced one. The spirit that says, I refuse to doubt, becomes a force in the unseen realm. It becomes a signal that echoes into tomorrow. It becomes an instruction that destiny must follow. And everything begins to align with the stance of that spirit. The future obeys it because the future was designed to respond to faith, not fear, to conviction, not confusion, to trust, not trembling, to courage, not compromise, to certainty, not hesitation. And so when the spirit refuses to doubt, the future recognizes its master.